hear this strumming pattern right here? It's just a normal pattern. It doesn't have any groove to it until you put the mutes in like this. Now it feels like we want to clap along, get the audience going along with you. Well, y'all, I'm going to show you how to put groove into this old guitar of yours by doing mutes, a muting technique with our right hand and our left hand to give us that feeling of what a drummer would create. That's where that groove comes from. This guitar, I really think guitarists, we're just drummers in disguise, you know, because that pick, it's so percussive. And so if we lean into the just natural way our guitar produces sounds, we can make our guitar groove, right, where people want to bob their head along. So I'm going to show you how to do that with these two techniques. So the right hand technique is really where we're going to get that biggest, fattest kind of snare drum emulation. This is what I call a mute strum. And it happens, if we're counting in 4, it happens on beats 2 and 4, which is called the backbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So no matter what your strumming pattern is, if on beats 2 and 4 you add this mute strum, it's going to give that feeling of a snare playing in it. So here's what I do to create this sound. It's two things at one time. It's a strum and it's a mute. So I put the side of my palm right here on my strings, and I put it right here. I don't put it way far back. It's not a palm mute, right? This technique where we do this. It's just a pure mute where we're really not hearing any tone. So put the side of that palm by the sound hole, and then just rake your pick over the strings. And if you do these together, it'll just be a nice kind of click sound. And so the real skill of this is to get the timing right, because when you're doing a strumming pattern, your hand's actually above the strings, and then it has to come down, and the timing has to be good. So I would suggest doing this really slow, watching the palm of your hand land on all 6 strings, and then dragging the pick across just after you do that. And then, as you get good at it slow, start speeding it up to where it's really hitting it every time. It's very easy to hear if it's not working well, because if you don't put your palm down soon enough, you'll just hear like a string ring out. So it's very black or white. You can tell if it's working or if it's not very easily. So you can practice that, pause it if you need, but that's the mute strum. Now with our chording hand, we can create what are called guitar scratches, or what I call chickas, because they sound like chicka, chicka, chicka. So they got this chicka kind of sound, and you've probably done this before. Just lightly touch all your strings with your chording hand, and then you can strum as much as you want, and it's going to be muted. And so with these two techniques combined, it gives us that kind of emulation of what a snare drum would do, and really creates a lot of groove. Well, now let's put these techniques into a real strumming pattern with a real chord. I'm going to use an E chord here, so 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 2nd frets of A and D, and 1st finger on 1st fret of G, and then we're going to strum all 6 strings. The other ones are open. And what I'm going to do is work on that mute strum first. So it's going to sound like this. I'm going to do an 8th note pattern, downs and ups, and I'm going to mute on beats 2 and 4, that backbeat. It'll sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so I'm going to do this a few times. You can do it with me. I do want to let you know, though, I do notice that students can have an issue with, after they do a mute strum, coming back up. You have to remember, if we're in that 8th note count, then we're going to go 2 and. There's an and after your mute strum. So make sure you're strumming back right after that mute strum. So let's do this for a few bars. Here we go. 1, a 2, a ready and play, and 1 and 2, and 3 and 4, 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 and. All right, well, if you're noticing a big difference, like where you've got the full chord and then boom, it's just dead silent, then you're doing it really well. So you can work up to that where you're not making any mistakes on it, and it's you're internalizing the rhythm and using that mute strum. Well, now let's look at our chording hand muting technique, the scratches like this. Let's make a G chord together. So take that 3rd finger, put it on the 3rd fret of low E, let it bend over, mute your A, and then open D, G, B, pinky on 3rd fret, high E. This is a very nice, warm sounding G chord, and it also allows us to really work on this technique by allowing our first and middle fingers to be free. So we get this G chord going, and this is what I call on-off. So when you're playing the chord, it's like you're on. It's like a light switch. It's either on or it's off, right? When we play the chord, it's just perfect. And then when we do the mute and relax our fingers and let all our fingers touch the strings, it's off. It's a perfect off. It's either on or off. You don't want it to be somewhere in between. You don't want to hear notes accidentally ringing out as you do the mute. And so what I do when I'm moving to this relaxed position is my 3rd and pinky fingers, they don't actually jump off the strings, but they do stop pressing down. And then I let my 1st and middle finger just, touch all the strings, and there it is. I'm not pressing down at all. Just gives me this perfect mute. So I would practice going back and forth, playing the chord, then muting it. Playing the chord, muting it. And then you want to work on the speed of that, where you can go back and forth pretty fast, and you're noticing that each one, it's either fully on or it's fully off, and it's really sounding nice. Well, now let's put this into an actual strumming pattern. So this is going to be a 16th note pattern. It's going to sound like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... So I'm going to do that and start off slow, and we're going to mute on 2 E and 4 E, but then be on the other beats. Here we go, nice and slow. Ready and play. And 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. Let's go a little faster. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a... All right, a little faster. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. One more speed. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Okay, how'd you do? That is the scratching technique. Well, now what we're going to do is combine both the mute strum and the scratching. So to combine these, I'm actually going to use bar chords, a G bar chord and a C bar chord. So to do that G bar chord, I'm playing 3, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3 with my first finger barring that B and high E. And then I'm going to do that same 16th note pattern with the scratches, but I'm also going to add a mute strum with my strumming hand on beats 2 and 4. And then I'm going to go back and forth between G and C like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Let's talk about this, because now I'm sliding my hand around. When I do a bar chord, it's actually really easy to do the scratches because I have a finger touching every string already. So you might break it down and just try that bar chord, muting hard on beat 2, and then as you play beat 2, you're relaxing your fingers also, so that as you come up, you're getting that nice mute. 1 E and a 2 E and a... And then as we slide, here's the cool part is because our fingers are relaxed, we can keep them on the strings and go 4 E and a as your hand moves. And that helps you get up to that next chord shape. So again, that's a timing thing. You can just move your hand as your strumming hand keeps going. So now let's try that together. Nice and slow. I'm going to play one bar of G and then slide up to C and then back and forth. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and a 1 E and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Slide up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Slide back. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. The 4 E and a 1. All right, let's speed it up just a little bit. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Slide up. A little faster. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... All right, one more speed. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Very good, guys. If y'all stay with that, awesome. But if that was getting kind of quick and fast, that's absolutely okay. Take your time with it. You will get there eventually. It's just about timing, getting used to it. And yeah, this will be awesome for you. All right. Well, now for all y'all who are feeling a little crazy, I'm going to do that progression that I did at the beginning as the example. I'm going to teach this to you, okay? So first thing we got to learn is the 4 chords. There's only 2 chord shapes, this chord shape and this chord shape. So once you have those 2, you can play all 4 chords here. So the first chord is C major 7. First finger plays 8. It bends over, mutes the A. 3rd and 4th finger on the 9th fret of D, G. Middle finger's on the 8th fret of B. And then you can actually let your high E ring out in this case. It's kind of a droning note between all 4 chords. We're going to keep our 3rd and 4th fingers on those strings, D and G, and move them down to the 7th fret. The middle finger is going to take over the bass note on the 7th fret of low E. It mutes the A. And then our first finger is on the 5th fret of B, and then we let our high E ring out also. So this is the second kind of chord shape. This is like a B minor 7 chord. We slide this shape down to the 5th fret. So it's A minor 7, and then we go 3rd and 4th fingers stay, and they go to that 4th fret, and we recreate that major 7 shape, G major 7, and you can let that high E ring out. So C major 7, B minor 7, A minor 7, G major 7. And then it's just a matter of putting that strumming pattern to it. So we start with this C major 7 chord, and the rhythm sounds like this. A 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. A 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So I'll throw this up on the screen to kind of show you. So on beats 2 and 4, it's always going to be the mute strum as usual. But all the other X's are going to be scratches. Okay, so we take this C major 7 shape and we play it on beat 1 and we go 1 E and. So I actually make it staccato. I let the pressure off basically as soon as I play it. 1 E and is a scratch. I press back down, upstroke on mute strum on 2. 1 E and a 2. So just practice that real slow. Get the mechanics down. And then once it starts to speed up, we can keep going. And we're going to do that E beat. 1 E and a 2 E. E, so it's upstroke as a scratch, just lightly touching my fingers. And I'm going to be sliding my hand down on that E beat and then landing on that B minor 7. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. A 4. So we're just holding that out. Now, if you wanted to make this more complex, you could. You go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4, and add extra scratches in there, but I'll just keep it simple for now. So we go a 4, and we hit that on the 4, and then we slide down to our next shape, a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Same exact pattern, just these 2 chord shapes. So we do that really slow, 1 E and a 2 E, 3 E and a 4. And you can go and as you slide up and then it takes us back to the beginning of the progression. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So there we go. So now if I put it all together really slow, it sounds like this. Ready, and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E, 3 E and a 4 and a 1. We end on that A minor 7, and we just hold it all the way to the end of that bar, and then we go back to our C major 7. We keep playing that progression, and that's it. Well, y'all, that's it for today. In the next lesson, I'm going to actually teach you how to do double strumming. So be on the lookout for that, guys. What an important lesson today to know how to take any chord progression and create groove in it by putting those mutes. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next lesson.